I'll tell you what we've all been up to this week. We've been watching The Acolyte. It's been today again. I just watched it last night and today.
Yeah, well, it just came out last night.
I went to turn it on at 6 p.m. and I was like, Pacific time.
Yeah. Because when I sat down with our dinner, we were all excited, and then it was like 7:30. We're like, damn it, it's not on until 9.
Where is it? Why is it just a trailer?
That happened to me with Daredevil season 1, episode 1. Ooh. I was so stoked for that.
Yeah.
I would have been toast.
I was like, I'm going to stay up till midnight.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I got Sushan to hang out. Like, oh, let's stay up till midnight. And so
you're clicking around.
And nothing came up. Nothing. And then I did some research and I was like, oh my God, it's not till 3 a.m.
Yeah.
But to my wife's credit, she goes, why don't we just go to sleep?
Yeah.
Set the alarm, wake up at 3 a.m. and then watch the first episode of Daredevil. So that's what we did.
Solid.
Yeah. And I loved it.
Good show.
But anywho, The Acolytes episodes 1 and 2 from Disney Plus. New episodes drop on Tuesdays, just so you know, because I can never keep track of that shit. Created by Leslie Headland, starring Amanda Stenberg, Daphne Keane, Jodie Turner-Smith, Lee Jung-jae. I know I'm messing that up. I'm sorry. Jung-jae?
Maybe.
Young-jae? Charlie Burnett and Carrie-Ann Moss. A former Padawan reunites with her Jedi Master to investigate a series of crimes, but discovers the forces they confront are more sinister than they ever anticipated. So real quick, let's go round table.
Okay.
We have a round table.
Let's go for once.
How do you feel about the Star Wars television projects thus far? Have you watched them?
I have watched them.
Okay, cool.
I've watched most of them. Yeah. Some of the Visionaries, I don't think I saw. Some of the non-canon stuff. Yeah. But all of this stuff in the main continuity, all the live actions, I think I've watched. And I don't think there's been a single one that I didn't like.
Yeah.
Some I like more than others. Mandalorian. I feel like there was another one that I enjoyed.
How did you feel about Obi-Wan?
Book of
I liked Obi-Wan.
I liked Obi-Wan.
Yeah, I liked Obi-Wan a lot.
Yeah.
Boba Fett.
Book of Boba Fett?
That was one too, and
that was certainly a show.
Some of that was really good.
Yeah, some of it was
the
really
parts
good.
that were Mandalorian based.
Yeah,
those were the best.
Yep.
And there was even in that one there was other cool stuff.
Ahsoka.
I liked Ahsoka.
Haven't watched Ahsoka yet.
It was good.
But I haven't watched any of the...
You got to watch Rebels.
I haven't watched Rebels
yet.
It's
my favorite Star Wars.
I need to.
Rebels is the shit.
Yeah.
And I was looking forward to this, even though I'm often like a story about a villain is, I feel like, not usually that great, especially for the long haul. Just because the way that narrative structure often works, you're like, but I don't want to see this person win. And I don't want to see the protagonist of the story not win.
Yeah.
So that presents a problem. And I'm not as interested in them usually.
Yeah.
Not always, but I was still intrigued by this, even though I'm like, this hadn't something in the past and they're going to do Sith stuff.
Yeah.
But I liked it.
Well, so a lot of the hubbubbery online was, they're breaking canon because there's a red lightsaber, but we all know that there haven't been any Sith for thousands of years and blah, 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 blah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
They tell us in the prequels, like, Sith are extinct and they haven't seen a Sith for 1,000 years or something like that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Just because
they're
like literally while that dude is saying that, there's literally a Sith Lord doing all the shit.
I know. It's just like running into stores.
Yeah. Like a little gremlin. Yeah. Rob Patey is saying Mando, Obi-Wan, Ahsoka, Boba Fett, Andor.
Oh, Andor. That's the one I wasn't thinking of.
I haven't watched Andor.
It's really good.
But I've heard from a lot of people that it's like their favorite of the live action.
Yeah. It is a slow beginning,
really
Okay.
but boy, does it amp up.
Yeah.
I love it.
It does.
Yeah.
And I have not seen Rogue One. And now I'm like,
You
Rogue One's
haven't?
great.
I haven't seen it.
Oh my God.
And now I'm kind of like, you know what? Maybe I'll just watch the second season of Andor, which I think is it, and then watch Rogue One, because I think it leads into that.
I am
But you
interested.
don't think so? You don't think I should do that?
I'm trying to remember how the season 2 ends.
No, it hasn't happened yet.
It hasn't happened yet.
Yeah,
That's why.
You will not be able to remember it.
That's why
as
I
of
can't
now.
remember it.
Intrigued to
I meant
see how
season
that
1.
would work. Like, hey, like watching Andor before seeing Rogue One.
Yeah.
I'm interested.
All right. I'll keep you up
I
to
vote
date.
for you doing that.
Okay, cool.
For my own personal interest, I want to know.
Do it, but sure.
You're correct.
Yeah.
JD, will you weigh in on this?
Go for it.
You think it? So that's 3 for yes.
Yes.
Dylan.
Yeah, go for it. Do
All
it.
right. It's unanimous
Do
within
it.
this room right now.
Doing it.
I was hoping he would be like, what are we talking about?
Yeah.
Who's
Like,
this?
I don't care what you do,
I
Brad.
actually have
Apocalypse.
no idea what we're talking about.
Also in the chat,
glad you're in.
Mandalorian pulled off a miracle. It made me give a shit about Star.
Yeah.
Star what?
About Star.
Trek?
She previously did not care about any stars.
Stars.
None of the
Stars
stars.
are bullshit.
Yeah. But actually, Pink Apocalypse, obviously you meant Star Wars.
Yes.
Did you like Star Trek before that time?
Were you a Trekkie?
Yes.
So, and same question to you.
Yeah, what do you think?
No.
What shows have I?
Yeah.
Like, okay.
You're all caught up on the shows.
Oh, right.
Not
Do you
all the
enjoy
shows.
them?
I do very much enjoy the shows.
You haven't seen Ahsoka?
I haven't seen Ahsoka
Or
or
Andor.
Andor, but I enjoyed Obi-Wan than most people I've spoken to. A lot of people either felt neutral or didn't like
liked
it.
a lot.
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I sometimes rewatch some of the fight scenes just like when I'm having a slow day. I'm just like pull up like an 8-minute video.
Plus,
I'm just
Vader
like,
is actually like what Vader is said to be.
that fight scene
Yeah.
with him and Obi-Wan gives me
Pretty
chills.
cool.
I love that
every
fight scene.
fucking time. Every
I mean,
time
holding
when
a
he
spaceship.
says, "Oh
Yeah.
my
The whole
god,
spaceship.
oh my god, it's so good."
And I really
with
liked-
his cracked mask. Oh
Cool.
my god, it's
What was her
so
name?
good.
Reva?
Riva,
Riva.
I loved her
her.
story.
I
She's very
loved her
cool.
whole story.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, I loved that
Good
too.
story.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the main complaints I heard about that show was the Leia plot line. A lot of people had issues with.
Which
I
I
can
didn't make sense
see.
in continuity, which
Yeah.
Star Wars has a long tradition of.
Yeah.
Yes, it's true.
And
True.
she was cool.
Yeah.
The character
Yeah.
was cool.
Yeah. Overall, Mandalorian's my favorite of the shows.
Yeah, same.
Again, I've watched the end of season 2 multiple times. Still
Is that
get
when
chills
he's like
every time.
riding
With Luke,
Yeah.
a Rancor?
where Luke shows up.
Okay,
in the
gotcha.
way that one would want to see Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
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 Awesome.
It was so cool. So yeah, I've seen Mando, Boba Fett. Same feelings about Boba Fett.
Yeah.
It was
that,
just
one
happened.
that one episode was awesome.
yeah. And Obi-Wan. What other live action shows are there? I haven't seen.
It seems
I
like
haven't-
it.
Mando, Obi, Ahsoka,
watched-
Boba, Andor.
I think I've watched some of Clone Wars.
Oh,
Okay.
Clone Wars is Rebels is better.
Or maybe I watched
Gotta do
Rebels.
Rebels.
Yeah, I know. I need to watch Rebels.
So I've been
You've seen it all.
chomping at the bit. Like every single time one of these drop, I'm there ready and just chomping. I
Yeah.
get a bit and I'm just chomping away at it. And it's the
You
same
do
way
love
that I
bits.
felt like Superman. I'm running out of bits. I most of the live action ones, I'm like, oh, that was good. Except, oh, I really like that, but there was
That's
also
just
this.
you as a viewer.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah. I just don't like anything all
Right.
the way through.
Yeah.
So except for Mando season 1
All right.
was baller all the way through.
Love Mando.
I would like, I even like the theme music. Like I would
It's
sit there and
so
vibe to the
fun.
theme music. I loved it.
Costa has a giant Mandalorian tattoo.
Yeah, he
Costa is
does.
a hardcore fan.
He had me draw a tattoo and then he was like, I'm going to get a different one.
That's nice.
Ahsoka, like I think Andor starts off slow. Ahsoka, the choreography in that show for someone who is such a master swordsmith, it's very, very kind of like slow and
Well, she's
Is it?
also kind of just waving. It really looks like she's doing what I'm sure they're all doing, just waving her lightsaber around,
Yeah.
and then they direct the blaster fire
it just
in
looks,
post-production
it feels like very
towards it.
sleepy, all the fighting in that. I'm like, if there's a sequence in Clone Wars where Ahsoka is much younger and she's jumping from starfighter to starfighter, and it's such a badass sequence. And then in the live action, it's just like, so yeah. So I think most of them are fun. I like them to a certain degree, but each one of the ones I kind of go, well, but also this.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like, but so that's all to say that the Acolyte dropped this week, and I have personally been really enjoying the High Republic era of Star Wars. For anyone who doesn't know, this series is the first live action show to take place in what's called the High Republic era, which the beginning takes place 200 years before the Skywalker
The
saga.
beginning of the High Republic era.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
The beginning of this show takes place 100 years before. So there's a character, Vernestra Rowe, who used to be like, she was much younger. She had long purple hair. And in this, she's much older and is bald.
She's in like the comics and stuff.
She's in the comics. She's
Okay.
in the novels.
Okay.
If you're interested in checking out the High Republic, 100% pick up the Charles Soule novel, Light of the Jedi, which starts off with one of the most gnarly sci-fi accidents I've ever read, and was surprised that we haven't seen that yet. For anyone in the chat who knows what I'm talking about, don't spoil it. Just let me know if we've seen that in any other sci-fi before, because it was a page turner, man. I thought that was awesome. And so in the High Republic, all of the Jedi are kind of in abundance. Everything's going really well. The Republic is in the heyday of its tenure. They're still mapping out the hyperspace lanes.
Oh, they hadn't gotten to that?
Yeah, they're still doing it.
Oh, okay.
And
been around for a long time
they still don't have like communication to the outer rim, so they're still trying to build communication. So things are a little bit more choppy back then.
All right. But the Jedi had been around for like thousands of years, right? Okay, so this is like more towards the end of their kind of tenure, as it turns out. Until we see them in the sort of the prequels where they're kind of shitty and very political.
Yeah.
Well, and there's some views that they're not so hot here either. Like maybe they're a little stuffy and have lost the way a little bit.
That's right, because I think that's where we're headed, right? They're bridging that gap between the High Republic and the Skywalker saga.
And are we getting an Old Republic show also?
That I haven't heard. That I haven't heard.
I'd really like to see something about that.
I remember playing that video game for like 20 minutes and thinking it was cool, and then that was it.
That was it.
Yeah. So what did you guys think of the Acolyte episodes 1 and 2?
I really enjoyed them.
Yeah?
Yeah. I thought they were a lot of fun. I also love...
We will get into spoilers,
no spoilers
in a little bit, but we're going to start off with no spoilers.
Yeah. I also love Amandla Stenberg.
From?
Well, I'm going to say two things. From
Bodies.
Bodies.
That's 3 things.
Fun horror movie. Yeah, that's 3 things. I said 2.
Was that the what? Which one was Bodies? Was that the Netflix?
It had Pete Davidson horror movie.
I saw the other thing about Bodies. We reviewed it for the show.
3 body problem.
Three body.
No, that's
Bodies problem.
Oh my God.
Neither of those what I was thinking of. We reviewed another thing that went to the word
time travel
bodies.
body.
I think, yeah.
Where like the same corpse shows up in 4 different timelines with the same bullet.
Like yeah.
I forget
what
that was
called. A lot of
called.
bodies stuff.
Yeah.
So body works together.
So many bodies.
We're constantly exploring each other's bodies.
That's true. And celebrating them.
Yeah, that's nice. So
it's really wholesome. Do you guys want me to leave?
Yeah, you can watch.
Right, she was also, when she was a lot younger, in the Hunger Games.
Oh, really? Was she
Rue?
That was
Rue in the Hunger Games.
Did she win any of the Hunger Games? Did she die?
Oh, she died.
Oh, that sucks. Yeah. And this is different than.
But she haunts the narrative forevermore.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
She's present in people's minds and hearts, and
that's pretty cool. But not in a way that they would pay her, the actress, to be in the movies.
No.
Oh, that's a shame.
I think there's like a picture of her pops up in the second one, so I don't know if she got any money for that.
Thanks to Crispin Glover, I believe you do have to get.
Do you know the story?
No.
Do you know who Crispin Glover is?
No.
Okay,
well,
so Crispin Glover
telling you the story.
Was from you do know Crispin.
He was the dad in.
You're
Back
a
to the
dead
Future.
fuck.
Thought you were going to say the little vampire.
Friday the 13th.
He was Richard E. Grant in the Richard E. Grant story.
Have you seen all the Friday the 13th?
Yeah.
He's the one with the dance scene.
Oh my God.
He's amazing.
He's amazing.
He's in American Gods. I don't know if you saw.
No, I haven't.
But anyway, he was in Back to the Future 1. He plays Marty McFly's dad. And then in the second one,
much more contactable reference.
Yeah. He although she got the Friday the 13th.
She did.
And then for Back to the Future 2, he didn't come back. So they built a prosthetic face to look like him and put it on another actor.
Oh, so
and
it's
then
like,
hung him upside down.
To like kind of distract you. Like he had a back problem in the story, and so he's hanging upside down the whole time.
Yeah.
And I think that is the same thing that covers if there is an image of you in any way.
Yeah. So like they can't use your likeness without
permission.
Paying you.
And
Got
maybe
you.
making it, because they also didn't really make it clear that it wasn't him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they'd have to do that now. And he's that was probably his most normal role.
Yeah,
he's a very weird,
yes,
adept actor.
Yeah.
He's amazing in American Gods.
I haven't seen it.
He plays Mr. World, the leader of the Pantheon of American Gods.
Wow.
And he's great.
Nice.
Yeah.
What were we talking about? Oh, The Acolyte.
Oh, yeah. The main review of the show.
So you liked it.
I really enjoyed it. Yes.
Yeah. Brian, what did you think of it?
I really liked it too.
Yeah.
Now, I did fall asleep for a little bit of episode 1.
I fell asleep for episode 2 and had to rewatch it today.
Yeah.
But it was past my bedtime when it came out.
Yeah. By default, because you were asleep.
Yeah.
So, and I went back and I rewatched most of episode 1, and then I didn't have so much time, so I was like, all right, I'll just watch the recap, and then watched all of episode 2. And it was cool. It was very cool. I don't think it is, as of yet, above my favorite of the live action Star Wars, but I'm really enjoying it.
Nice.
Yeah.
I have been really pleasantly surprised by this because, like I said, a bunch of the other shows, I'm like, that's pretty good, but I don't have any butts yet. I'm buttless. I just slide off seats. I had to duct tape myself to the chair.
Interesting.
So I thought this was really, really fun, and I didn't know it until I saw it. But I said to Sushan, I did not realize I have been missing Kung Fu in Star Wars.
Yeah.
It makes sense that they would be able to do that.
Right?
Yeah.
Of course. Of course they're going to have different sorts of choreography that they can employ.
I didn't even really realize that was something we hadn't seen yet. Because you know how as things progress, like in The Phantom Menace, the fight scenes are a lot better than in New Hope, right? Yeah. And I was just like, oh, that seems like something they would do in Star Wars. Yeah. And I hadn't quite realized, like, oh, we have not seen that until we were just talking now.
Yeah, and the choreography, much in the way that I did not like the choreography in Ahsoka, this is the opposite of that.
You did like it.
I actually found myself going like, that was a cool, whoa, look at that.
And the Jedi seem like the kind of fighters who would like kind of just move out of the way.
Yes.
You know? Because they the Force, they're in with that and they know what's coming.
And I like how they employ using the Force, like Force pulling and pushing to amplify their moves. Cool. So cool.
Yeah,
I loved it.
It's really, really cool.
Yeah. And I really like the story that they're setting up with May
OSHA?
and OSHA.
The Occupational Safety and Health Administration.
The entire time when they're like, oh no, OSHA.
OSHA has a
who's
problem
coming
with
to
the way
shut down
you
the
run
Jedi
things.
So yeah, man.
OSHA comes in with their hard hats and they're like, you can't have any of this.
You got a lot of apothecary stuff here. You're gonna have to clear it out.
None of this is up to code.
And May.
Oh. He won a suit against Zemeckis.
Crispin Glover.
Crispin Glover won a suit against Robert Zemeckis for those Back to the Future 2 shenanigans.
Good for him.
And he also says Knights of the Old Republic was so good game.
Nice. Eloquent way to put that.
I so far this may be shaping up to be one of my favorites of the live action shows, and I'm delighted to see the High Republic in live action
era.
Yeah, that era.
And also the Jedi wearing different clothes than that, like brown robe.
I like their outfits and stuff. The gold and white.
Yeah, it's nice.
I will say that I have some trouble with some of the delivery. Some of the acting. I think Vernestra Rowe feels like she's just sort of reading her lines. Even Lee Jung Jae.
Yeah.
But of course, he learned English for this role.
Yeah. Oh, is that right?
So I can't knock him.
Yeah. And yet you are.
Because he's a Korean star.
Is that right?
And
that's cool.
He basically just learned his lines in English.
That's just how the character talks.
So, but
I had no idea.
No, I didn't know that either.
I thought he was doing very well.
Like a cultured, recognizable but cultured accent.
Yeah.
And he's doing great.
Yeah.
Here's what I miss in my War of Stars: ships and Jedi seem like an either or with all these shows. Either or with all these shows.
They are on a ship for a decent amount of time.
There was a good ship scene.
Yeah.
There was actually a really good ship sequence in was it episode 1 or 2?
Was that when she goes out on the outside of the ship?
That's episode 1.
Yeah.
But like the crashing.
That's episode 1.
Oh, that was gnarly. And also, this is the most expensive live action Star Wars show so far.
Really?
I think it's $180 million for the whole season.
Although, much like highest grossing movies, prices continue to go up for many things.
Yeah.
So yes, the
newest one is probably the most expensive.
The most expensive. Yeah. Often anyway.
But my point being, it's all on screen. I think it looks like an expensive show.
Yeah.
Also, although they keep the sort of the cute element of clearly on a set, like that's not a real village. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of cute.
I assumed it was.
The dog fights. He's talking about the dog fights in space.
Oh yeah, we didn't see
which are like my least favorite part of Star Wars.
Yeah, Rob.
Yeah, I kind of get tired. I'm like, all right, yeah, pew pew pew. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's true.
I need them lightsabers.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Although they make them with the close-up guns too. They say pew 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 when they're firing them.
That's true.
Yeah. Also, do you remember when we reviewed The Phantom Menace? We were disappointed in their use of the Trade Federation's, the accents that they used.
The Nemoidians,
and, is that the name of their species? And in this one, they just spoke without a caricature. So that was cool.
I would say there was an Asian lilt.
Yes.
To it, but without being caricaturish.
Right. Somebody who is not Asian having learned that from someone else having read the lines as we learned.
I noticed that too in episode 1. I was like,
oh, that's good.
Right.
Hey, it's a whole species. They don't talk the same.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Pink says, I'm not plugged into the fandom, but I'm vaguely aware of a rumor that they're retroactively fixing the sequels by engineering a clone emperor plot woven through future TV War of Stars.
The Mandalorian was kind of like that.
I don't think that's fixing it though, right? Pink, like, we know that he was cloned. That's not a question. So there's nothing really to fix. I think they're just explaining it. They're just like
I think
delving into it.
Depending on how you felt about that. In the sequels, maybe it's like, we're going to make that story better by doing these things.
I mean, great, because I think they did that with the prequels. Yeah. I don't like the prequels very much.
No.
And all the prequel era TV shows and books I love. Yeah, it's just this, I think the movies themselves are...
Not into it.
But
I like Revenge of the Sith.
And she asked if this is true. Yeah, it is slightly true because, it's definitely true. In Mando... The reason they're looking for Grogu is cloning.
Werner Herzog's character.
Yeah. I would like to see the baby.
I'd like to see the baby.
I'd like to see babies.
So and everything that Moff Gideon is doing in Mando is also heading towards
stuff?
clone. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Or the people above him are anyway.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And there may also be some Thrawn stuff.
No, this is pod
there
racing.
is Thrawn stuff, but I mean, I think something they said hinted that he might be involved in that. I don't know.
And also in the comic books, Pink, they've really been, I think in the Darth Vader series, we actually saw Exegol, which is that planet that Palpy lives on.
Palpy?
You know?
Oh, yeah.
A little Palpy.
Yeah. That's what they call him on Exegol.
Yeah.
Yeah. He lets his guard down.
All right. Spoiler time.
Spoiler time for
these
this
first 2 episodes of Acolyte. I keep almost saying Alkaline Trio.
It's a weird
band.
Oh. Do you have a jacket of them?
I have a jacket of them.
See, you have a whole themed outfit today. You said you didn't.
Well, he really engineered that one.
Yeah.
So, totally wizard. What am I thinking? Oh, so yeah, fucking, they screamed her.
They Drew Barrymore.
They Drew Barrymore, Carrie-Anne Moss. I was so excited for Carrie-Anne Moss to be in this show.
Well, they were still capable of putting her in all of the marketing and in the title cards.
Yep.
They found their way to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now she could there could be some flashbacks involved in this show.
Yeah, I kept
It's a flashback
hoping.
kind of show.
Yeah.
Because we even saw one of them as a little girl.
Actually, you have that first amazing fight sequence between May and
presumably.
I forget her name.
I don't know. Indara.
Indara. Carrie-Anne Moss, and then Indara dies, and then May, I assumed, was waking up, and I thought that was a flashback. I thought we were going back in time where she wakes up. She's a mech tech, and I thought that was young, the assassin,
right?
And we were going to find out what led her to kill Indara,
right? Okay,
and then we find out oh no, it's a completely different character, and they're twins.
So flash sideways.
Yeah,
flash sideways. Yeah,
which I was happy about because as I mentioned, I was like, I'm going to watch a whole show about this Sith person. And now it seems I'm not going to do that.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so, I was disappointed that Carrie-Anne Moss died.
Yeah.
Yeah, Costa immediately said that. He's like, they Drew Barrymore her. Yeah. And at first when she got stabbed and was dying, he's like, Trinity, no. Yeah.
Although she still got it. She still got it. As far as the fight moves.
Yeah.
Oh, she's killing it.
Yeah.
Well.
Oh, she wasn't killing it.
She didn't kill that much.
Yeah, May was killing it.
Not a lot of killing.
So
Flash Sideways is just time. Yeah.
Flash Sideways.
That's true. Flash Sideways, just time.
Depends on how fast you're moving, Rob.
I also like the second Jedi we meet that she tracks down, and she just can't get to him.
Oh,
And he's
guy
just
hanging
sitting there
out.
force bubble around
Yeah, that was
him.
cool.
That was
He
fun.
doesn't open his eyes,
Mhm.
but he seems to feel like they did something pretty wrong in that situation.
He took that.
Maybe they parent
poison.
trapped them and they split the kids up.
So
And they were like, we're not going to tell them they have a twin.
I was just gonna say I was really proud of myself because as soon as when we see Osha and we're thinking, oh, is this one person? And then they mentioned that she had a sister at one point. I like sat up on the couch and Cuz was like, what? And I'm like, I bet you they're twins. And he's like, what? And I was like, well, her hair was a little longer, the other one, and this one has shorter hair.
Oh,
so
I didn't
they're
notice
parent
that.
trapping it like they
Nice.
did with Lindsay Lohan, where one of them had long hair and one of them had short hair.
Did they have
Nice.
different length hair in that movie? In the Parent Trap movie? Oh, wow.
They end up cutting one's hairs. They switch.
You can't come back from camp and be like,
with
my
like
hair
12
grew.
more inches of hair.
12
I've never seen that movie.
What?
I've never seen that movie.
Oh, it's cute.
It's a good movie. I think
It's
the
cute.
first, I remember seeing the first
Dennis
one when I was
Quaid's
very
in
young
it.
too.
Oh.
Yeah.
Jack Quaid's dad.
I've
Jack
heard of
Quaid's
him.
dad.
Yeah.
He made Jack Quaid
Ryan's
with Meg
Paramore.
Ryan.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. It takes two, JD.
Sex.
Well, you
To
see.
make a thing go right.
Yeah.
So go
Takes two to
on.
make it out of sight.
Next.
So, I did like, so May comes in and she's like whacking at the force field,
Yeah.
right? And then another Jedi is coming in. So she jumps up through the open skylight and another Jedi comes in and he's like, oh, there's no way somebody could have gotten through that open skylight.
Yeah.
I'll just leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But everything looks fine here.
Everything's fine. I mean, not everyone's a Jedi. But they probably also wouldn't have some sort of futuristic grappling
Or
technology
like a ladder.
commonly around. Right.
So when I saw that, her leaping out of the skylight,
Mhm.
I went, why didn't she just enter that way?
Didn't she?
She goes through the whole thing.
can't.
She gets a kid
Oh, that's
to go
right.
up to the Jedi temple to have the little eyeball come out so that she can throw
Right.
like a disruptor on it.
Yeah.
And then she goes in. It's like,
Well,
she just gone in the flesh.
Well, she didn't know about the skylight.
Yeah, I guess
Not
not.
everyone goes
Yeah.
on the tops of buildings like you, JD, before
She was
they break
literally
in.
on the top of a building.
The line of sight must have been
That's
off.
true. Yeah. Anyway, it didn't bother
Or
me
she
that
wasn't
much.
totally confident it was the right building, and it would have been
Yeah.
really awkward if she
Oh,
dropped
like,
into the
ooh,
wrong
what if I
kill the
one.
wrong Jedi?
Ah, shit.
Yeah.
What would her face
Also,
be
what
red?
if he's pooping?
That's true.
Like, I don't want to kill him while he's pooping.
yeah, like in that Western movie that I saw one time.
Exactly like
Yeah.
that. Where's your movie that you saw that one time?
They open up the outhouse, and the kid, I think he's never killed anyone before, but he does kill him while he's pooping.
Yeah.
He doesn't feel good about it afterwards.
There's a spoiler for Game of Thrones. It's been out for a while. Somebody
Been
in
out
Game
for
of
a
Thrones
while.
dies that
Oh,
way.
that's
Oh, yeah.
right.
That guy sucks, though.
Yeah, he does
Yeah,
suck.
There's a lot of people in Game of Thrones that are
That
not
sucks.
nice
Most people
Yeah.
suck in Game of
Yeah.
Thrones, I would say.
Do we have anything else we want to talk about?
What else?
Oh, I also like the score.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I found myself kind of bopping along to
Mhm.
the final score that as
Yeah.
the show wraps up.
Hey, could I, for 1 second,
Yes.
go into a previous category, what I was up to this week, huh?
Yeah, okay,
Thank
sure.
you. The score in Doctor Who is amazing.
oh.
Jinx Monsoon's episode, Ruby plays a piano song that I was like, I want to have this song.
Yeah.
Like, this song is awesome. And it's just really well done throughout. The composer from Russell T. Davis's first run came back. Murray Gold, I think is his
Okay.
name. So anyway, yeah, that's
Nice.
really cool. But the score in Acolyte is excellent as
Yeah.
It
well.
was
Yeah.
really good. What was I going to say? Oh, I was actually telling Costa this before. I had to stop myself from doing this because I was going down a rabbit hole of trying to guess who May's master is.
Oh yeah.
And
I don't think it's.
I don't
anyone
think
we
it's
know.
somebody that we've seen
exactly.
before.
So I had to
Right.
stop myself from doing that because I was like, all right, I'm
Yoda,
gonna
probably.
Yeah,
definitely
yeah.
Yoda. I was like, I'm gonna fall down a rabbit hole of all these like crazy conspiracy theories of who it is, like Darth Plagueis and like
Yeah.
someone. And I was like, no, I just gotta enjoy the show
Yeah.
as it is for what it
Yeah.
is. Because like I referenced to Kosa when we were talking about it, how everybody got all hyped about the X-Men and WandaVision, and then like let that
right.
ruin the show for them
Yeah.
when it didn't happen,
When it
even
was
though it was
boner.
a great show.
Yeah.
And everybody was like,
I mean, that kind of did suck.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
but yeah. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna like
Yeah.
not
Just-
look up
especially 'cause
crazy
it's-
theories, but like I'm since it's coming out like on a weekly basis instead of just like binging it all in one go. I'm
It's
really
fun to
excited.
be able to
it's
talk
really
about-
fun
yeah,
weekly,
yeah.
week to week.
So people online, I've seen a couple of folks on Twitter talking about the Jedi in this show and how it seems like maybe they did some not cool shenanigans, right?
It seems
Seems
that way.
like it.
But he thought they were doing the right thing. So I
Mhm.
think it's something that,
Oh yeah, the guy who
Like,
drank the poison.
yeah.
Well,
Who was given by Jason Mendoza of The Good Place.
Yes,
The Good
that was
Place. It was
awesome.
nice to see him again.
Good
Yeah.
crossover.
Yeah. But they're angry because they're like, oh, were the Jedi going to be the real bad guys? And it's like, but if that's true,
Yeah.
what's the problem? Because I would, we've had like Count Dooku, who was a Jedi, who then became. Was he actually Sith, or was he just sort of like,
yeah, you can't use one of those. They don't let you have those.
So,
it'd be too confusing in the fights.
And then if you take it, you're still kind of a Sith.
It's like a police force, though, right? So, at times, and you've got good officers,
especially in this show.
Sure.
It's like seems very police.
And I think they may be at a point where they have gotten or are beginning to get, I don't know, self-indulgent isn't the right word, but like complacent and maybe complacent in watching themselves that they're still doing the right thing. They're like, well, we're in contact with the Force. Any decision we make is right. That kind of thing. And maybe
Force is with us.
A little overbearing. Right.
Yeah.
So who knows? That might be. But if they do that, we've still got thousands of years before this that they were presumably just the good guys.
Yeah.
And there is that hinted at in the prequels where, Qui-Gon Jinn isn't with them because he's like, hey, you guys are not really doing the right thing. And Yoda says something like, perhaps the prophecy misread we have.
Yeah.
And so, why there would need to be a balance between good and evil is kind of ridiculous. Like, why do we need evil? It's like a constant plot thing for them to explain, like, why there is evil. When it's like, why should there be a balance between those two things?
But I just, it wouldn't bother me if we found out that there were a couple of Jedi who like fucked up.
Yeah.
Like
Sith got to come from somewhere.
Yeah. Fucked up these kids' lives by accident, maybe even, but like, just made a bad decision.
Yeah.
And people seem to be upset that could be the case. And it's like, why?
Yeah. And also, I'm not sure that all of them, OSHA's former master.
Yeah.
He does say
Soul, I think.
Soul.
Yeah. He says he's made his peace with what happened, but I took it at the time as like we weren't able to save them.
Yeah.
So, and I think that might be the case with him because he doesn't seem racked with guilt, other than like regret for not being good enough.
The one scene that I thought illustrated the main problem I have with the Jedi is when he's talking to Osha about that. And he's like, I found my peace with it. You need to find your peace with it too. And she's like, my entire family was murdered. Yeah. And you're telling me to find peace with it? And I was just like, that's kind of like the Jedi in a nutshell. They're just like, just move on. Get over it.
Yeah. I've always had that problem. They're like, attachments will lead you to the dark side. And it's like, why?
We talked about that with the Phantom Menace. They took this 8-year-old away from his mother, and they're like, "You still have attachments."
Yeah, I saw her this morning, you dickheads.
And you easily could have saved her. Chose not to.
You mean my slave mother that we left behind on a desert planet?
She's not fine.
Yeah, she's not
okay.
Might
take
your thoughts
me missing out on
mother.
Her.
Yeah. Jesus.
Yeah.
So so anytime I think most of the prequels were about the faults of the Jedi, right? How they just made bad decisions, and they were so far up their own asses that they didn't even know that the Sith were rising.
They kind of like failed Anakin in a way because he kept getting more pushed away by them.
Not in a way, like absolutely. In several
they failed
ways,
him, and then
they didn't grant him the rank of master.
They didn't grant him the rank of master, and that's what happened.
It reminds me a lot of a book series that I think Pink Apocalypse is a big fan of as well, Dragonlance. In the present of the first 3 Dragonlance novels, the gods have withdrawn from the world for like a long time, and the dragons are also gone. And a big part of that, there was this cataclysm like hundreds of years ago. And a big part of that was that the priests who were originally good had become very restrictive and stuffy, and a lot of the bad aspects of organized religion. And so there was this cataclysm, and the gods withdrew completely from the world. And that kind of reminds me of maybe how the Jedi are being in this time, or they're getting there. Yeah. And they're never all like that. Like Yoda was always cool. Mace Windu, I think, was pretty cool. I don't know about the other ones. We don't get a lot of time with them, but yeah.
I feel like there's been several times that even Yoda, like in the books and stuff, where I'm like, oh, dude, not a good choice, bud.
Really?
Yeah.
I've read so many of the books. Well, I mean, I've not read any of them.
Oh, okay. So anyway, anything else? I think we all agree that the Acolyte is off to a good start.
It was off to a good start, and there was some cool cinematography, and I'm looking forward to seeing what's what.
I'm just really enjoying the fight sequences.
Very cool.
Those are really good too. It's nice to have a little bit more emphasis on the choreography.
Yeah,
for sure.
a lot of fun.
Yeah. Let us know what you think of the Acolyte, episodes 1 and 2. Email us at cultpopgo@gmail.com or tweet at us at cultpopgo. Also, follow us on TikTok because we put little shorts up.
Yeah.
We put our little shorts up.
Dylan puts our shorts up.
Yeah.
If you know what I'm talking about.
Remember that show, Salute Your Shorts?
I do. I never watched it, but I'm aware of it.
I watched it. It was all right.
Rob Beatty says one must be a sociopath to use the Force.
To use the light side of the Force.
Well, thanks so much for joining us, and we will talk at you later.
Bye.
Doo-doo. Done.
YunkJunk!